All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube. We are doing some heating, whatever you want, element things for the baby chicks. In this is going to be a different kind of video. I'm going to try to explain why I do half of what I do, and some of y'all don't understand that. As I get the same question all the time, why I do everything. Nonprofit and why I just do what I do. But can I help anymore? No, I'm beyond that. Okay, or why I should have said why I posted everything nonprofit, why I promoted everything. Can I? No, we don't have time, y'all. Um, I can't say it. McKelf, there's cycles that the Earth wobbles. Okay, the precession of the Earth, in we can say that, oh, this is man-made climate change, which the CO2 that's saturating the water is man-made, and it is a problem, because that's going to, the warmer the waters are when this kicks off, and it's going to kick off regardless. I mean, the Younger Dryas impact only slowed and gave us the window of climate without change that we've experienced for about 12,000 years. But on the 125,000 year scale, on the cycle scales, that's not anything. And it's going to only live once because unless we get hit again. And it's going to hit fast. That's something that that the monkey people that say we came from mud and all that other stuff, do I believe in? No, that's silly. Do I believe in like the Bible creation story? No, that's kind of silly too. Either way you want to look at it, either story is kind of silly. Is there clear evidence that the human genome has been genetically modified? Yes, there is. Did we do it? No, we didn't. Did it? Is there like fossil records of humans on the earth like there is other things? No, there's not. Could anything as advanced as the human eye spring forth out of nothingness like they say? Well, pass a few hurricanes over the aircraft junkyards in Florida. If a spontaneous reaction of an F-15 or F-22 pops out of this hurricane, I will believe what you're saying. And that's more believable than evolution, is all I'm trying to say, y'all. The climate change we experience, they may come to this realization. I've preached it for a long time. God bless my children who think I'm mentally insane over it, because I keep preaching the same story. Just because you can't see them doesn't mean it's not there. Just because you can't grasp the concept doesn't mean it doesn't work. When you have wires curled up in a coil that are laminated and you pass current through there, it becomes a magnet. If you take another coil and you pass it over the top of that electromagnet, or a real magnet on Earth, the bipolar real magnet, it's going to push the ions through the wire and give you a current. If you put a diode in a little resistor, then you can make it alternate. It's how the shit works, y'all. The sun doesn't just put out magnetic waves. The whole galaxy puts out radio frequencies and radio waves. Just because it's a fast radio burst doesn't still mean that it's not energy. And that's what controls our sun. And if you watch, every time that we get impacted by galactic, from our galaxy, the fast radio burst is our sun goes up and down and it peaks. And as it does, the peak energy from the sun affects our Earth like an induction range. That's the best analogy I can give it. The electromagnetic energy from the sun and other energies that we don't even grasp, some don't grasp, I should say, as they impact the Earth, they heat it from the inside, like a pot, like a pan of water reheating coffee grinds. And I challenge you to do this one so you can understand what I'm getting at. As the induction of the sun goes down in the solar minimums, then it turns up and goes to solar maximum. Take coffee, pour it on water, it'll float. You'll boil it and it'll sink. We'll let it cool down, reheat it. It's going to violently explode underneath the water. So put a lid on it and all that. I don't want you to get hurt, is what I'm trying to get at. When the sun comes back on, I think it's going to be July to October of this next coming year, in 24, okay? 24 to 25 is the solar maximum. It's going to cause it to spike even higher. Then at some point, these radio bursts stop. Where and why and how, I don't know all this. I'm not a cosmetologist. I can only observe it as an alchemist. But I can understand what's happening, is all I'm saying, y'all. And this is what we're getting prepared for. The day that it all kind of goes out. Because if you don't have a few things, you need a piece of property with a southern exposure. You're going to need a way to make a cave if there's not a cave there. Preferably try to find a network of people in underground caverns. The earth is laced with these underground caverns. Some have collapsed, some are in bad, in poor. But some have survived. Thousands of miles in Europe have survived. And look them up. This is how we survive the Ice Age. Every religion, the bigger religion, the non-phony religions, okay, put it that way. There are some that were made up, and I hate to say that, but it's the truth. They were made up to just exploit and corrupt and manipulate slow men. Any religion that promises you 72 women at the end because you're a barbaric lunatic for the man who dreamt it up, that's a problem. Christianity has the same thing in the King James. There's no different. Do I got an exact, even? No, I don't. But there's just as ludicrous things in Christianity is what I'm trying to get at. And y'all, the stories are Noah and Nema. Noah gets you through the flood. Nema gets you through the Ice Age in what you need. I don't know a Nema guy out there. Y'all need to find him. And otherwise, understand what's going to happen and go with that. You need a south side facing property. You're going to need to make a cave. You need water, preferably a network of people. Remember, you have to vent the methane. Don't shit in your own cave. You'll go blind. That's how the Indians, that's how when they came out of the underground, okay? The first generation was blind, the second generation can see. It's not genetic, it's just a physical attribute of being in a cave without methane being vented. You have to have a way to eat. This is all solid state heating to keep chickens alive, okay? In the end, chickens won't be what you have to survive on. It's going to be like mushrooms. You have to know how to cultivate mushrooms, and it's a little harder than you think, but at that time, it'll be easier because it'll be much colder. Mushrooms will be able to survive inside, and you'll be able to make cultures without so much of the mold and mildew that plagues mushrooms today is what I'm trying to get at. But you have to have a way to propagate the only food that's going to keep you alive other than meat. Not much harder than that, y'all. Yes, that's a pretty hardcore statement, but that's what it comes down to in a nutshell. You want to be in a place where it's as harsh, inhospitable as possible, and you can thrive there. And if you can thrive in a harsh, hospitable environment on Earth, pretty much anywhere, high altitude mountains, that kind of stuff, you're going to go through this pretty well. Because once the event happens in the, how to say that, the Apophis comet that's coming could hit Earth. Highly unlikely, okay? The first go around in 29 but what it could do is light our atmosphere on fire, and that would just snuff a lot of the world out with CO2. And so that is where you want to be underground, or have some place that is underground, because as the Earth turns, it's only going to be snuffed out of oxygen for about 12 hours. If you're in a place where you have oxygen and it's not enough oxygen to survive, you're going to live through that event. If it impacts like the Younger Dryas, well, not so much. there's going to be very few places where you can live. It's going to be extremely high. There's going to be tsunamis. There's going to be all kinds of stuff. That's a whole different video if it actually impacts on the Earth. But if it just snuffs out the Earth with carbon dioxide, a cave, being in the cave would be fine if you're there. If you're not, you're going to be like the mastodons. And if you don't know the deal, you might want to look that up. When the permafrost melted, we found the mastodons. And the permafrost came after the death of the mastodons. The mastodons were frozen upright, standing upright, with mouthfuls of subtropical foliage in their mouth. So they froze very fast. It wasn't a bad day. It wasn't thousands of years of this and that, okay? It was extremely fast. The foliage was growing. They were eating green foliage, and they were flash frozen, standing upright. They didn't even have time to fall down. It wasn't a bad day. They never laid down. Any animal that grazes, if it's a bad day, they hunker down. These animals were out walking around having a good day, and they failed. That's what happens. That's what's going to happen again. Okay, and this is just a chicken heater. We're going to wrap this one up because we're getting pretty long and it's hard to load this much. I made this one first in that pan, and what it was is I have a power thing that looks just like that. Okay, that's supposed to be right here this time. We're praying that it stays right there. And if it does, Miss Shannon, I love you. My Dollar General lady gave me some of these sticky rubber gooey things, and it might just work. So we're going to pull this off. And this one is 120, and it was just to see if the concept worked, and it does. The wrong kind of plug for it. This new one is 12 volt, and it's the same kind of plug. That's the correct volt, the plug for the 12 volt. But this was just to see if it worked. And what it was is this was like here on the deal, and it was supposed to be right in the center, and it didn't. It didn't stay on the mold, and it pulled away, and it drifted like over here, and I dug on both sides as hard as I could. I made a new concrete, super hard stuff. I hardened it with frequency, another video. But really cool concept, y'all. You got to keep push me on this one. I'll probably forget if I don't. But really good, and I've reused it again. And but is the thing drifted, didn't work, I couldn't find it, broke it in half, and it took everything I could to crack this dude in half. And so it's quite the tile, but it did work on one half, and we tested it out. Now we're going to see if this one is released, and this little gizmo is supposed to be right here, and that's what we're hoping for. And let's go. Oh, look at that. Is it? Oh, yeah. Okay, I can see it now. Sometimes I can't see what y'all see through the camera. Let's see if I can do that. Oh, there we go. Yeah, there's the gooey stuff right there. Oh, is that not cool, y'all? Okay. Huh. Let's see if I can't. The gooey. There we go. Okay, now the $64,000 question. All right, I couldn't get the little gizmo out of the bag with one hand, so we're going to see if that... Oh, look at that, y'all. Look at that. Just slick as a mink. Oh, I'm telling you what. Okay, and now there's two those solid-state heating deals, one in here, one in there, and it's all wired up. This is 12 volt. It'll go in the brooder box. That way it can heat through the day, and even when I run out of power at night, if I don't have enough power to give to this, I can shut it off, and the thermal mass will take it through. That should be enough thermal mass for about 6 hours, maybe 4 hours, because these things get pretty hot. I mean, these are like hotter than this one over here. And that one's kind of stupid hot. But it just for power management is what this is for. Okay, super long video, y'all, but this is why we're doing it. And some of y'all are going to understand that. Some of y'all can't. I would Anybody that is like screaming at the screen at this second saying, it's petroleum, it's fuel, it's fossil. Okay, yeah, it is that as well. It's look up the precession of the Earth in the temperature cycles. It's not going to change this. As soon as we peak out, that's it. We go back to zero. It's not what y'all keep thinking. We're not in control humanity is not in control of fast radio burst. I'm sorry what you might think. I'm sorry what you might have been taught. I'm sorry that you think that way. It's not true. Just saying.